I'm Michael Cahill and I'm 37 years old. I started doing youth screes when I was 9 years old. It started when I got involved in the local YMCA baseball league. I started out as the pitcher, but then the coach said I sucked. So I moved to catching. I didn't really like catching, but my parents said I had to make something of myself and that this was the only way. I've been playing catcher for about 3 months when I started to get a lot of pain in my legs from squatting down. I tried Advil. I tried Oxycontin. I was even on perks for a while, but nothing made the pain go away. One day after practice, I was approached by one of the teammates who was one of the shadier players on the team. No one really liked him very much. He was third string right field, and so no one even took him seriously, really. I mean, third string right field? But anyway, he came up to me after practice and was like, I've heard you've been having some problems. And I was like, what? What do you mean? Who told you that? He responded, that's not important right now. What's important is that I think I can fix your problem for you. Then I was like, but come on, man. He seriously told you. Come on. And then he's like, okay, if you're really going to be persistent about this, I'll tell you. It was Mickey. I was like, what? Mickey? That son of a gun. I told him about the leg pain I was experiencing in confidence. He promised not to tell anyone. He then said, well, man, the words got out. So are you going to do something about it or not? I told him I tried everything. Except going to the doctor, of course. They know nothing and are expensive. And nothing worked. And I started to cry. He said, I'm going to cry like a baby or you're going to do something about it. I said, fine, what you got? I said, I was desperate back then, desperate enough to take advice of a third-string right fielder. That's when he told me. He told me to meet him behind the 7-Eleven on Silver Street next to Einstein Bagels at 8:30 tomorrow. Before 9 o'clock is bedtime, of course. And not to be late or the deal would be off. I then asked him what was the deal and told him that I was confused because I wasn't aware that we had made any deal. He then departed with his closing remarks. Stop being such a little baby. I'm trying to save catcher because I want to win the Little League World Series. After that, I didn't know what to think. I was lost, I was confused, I was angry. The pain in my legs was still there and I couldn't do anything to stop it except go to this deal. I was nervous, I didn't know what to expect. I knew this guy had done Barbie soap before and that he had sold some to the coach. And when the coach threatened to cut him, he blackmailed him and said he would report him to the police if he did cut him. So he was a tough guy, basically. A little bit of an attitude. Most people on the team knew not to mess with him, but there was this ones that did would suffer his wrath. They would walk into practice the next day and have gum stuck to their cleats. It had been planted right beneath their bench spot, or even this one guy had a hole drilled in his bat. He filled it with cork, and I started to play much better after that, actually. But worse yet was this one time a player opened his bag and his mitt had all chewed sunflower seeds in it. I shuddered. Even so, he said he wanted the team to win. He said he wanted to help me, and even though I had overwhelming reason not to trust him, I thought I would give it a try. What did I have to lose, right? I couldn't get worse than it already was. The next day we had off from practice because of the Save Polar Bears campaign meeting in the park. Apparently, many polar bears in Uganda are dying, and we'd been killing them by eating shrimp and other seafoods that were important to their ecosystem. Anyway, I was filled with anxiety. Would he show up with another corked bat? Would he try to sell me Barbie soap? Would he try to set me up? My head was spinning. I was filled with anxiety. I had dreamed the night before I would get there, and the Salisbury Cubs from Afton Avenue would be waiting there for me, ready to tear into me, a defenseless, innocent boy that I was. But I prayed to God and thought of the polar bears and how much they had suffered and how brave they were to continue, and I resolved to go through with the plan and meet him. I told my parents that the coach had invited me to play pinball with them at Antonio's down on Woolworth. My mom approved me leaving the house on the grounds that it was an important bonding exercise with the coach, and that this was the only way to make it in life through baseball, so I better not screw it up. I wore all orange, our team colors at the time, and a giant wig that kind of made me look like a caveman. But the guy said it would let him know who I was, and I told him, well, anyone else pretending to be me could just put it on and I could give them the wig, but he was adamant that I wear it. I rode my bike as fast as I could, trying to get this thing over with. As soon as I could, the climatic feelings climbing as I pedaled the wheel. The wheel rotating was the only constant in my life. Right now, everything was in turmoil, and it was symbolic because as I moved forward towards the unknown, it represented my eagerness to get past my leg pain. But as I pushed my feet harder, it also symbolized my impending doom to the unknown and shadowy world of warranted fear. I finally arrived at the location behind the 7-Eleven. It was dark, there was no one around, and only a flickering light provided the only channel to the outside world. A homeless man uttered obscenities, provided the backdrop for what was about to go down. I dropped my bike to the no loitering sign. I didn't see the sign until after I put it down. I paused for a moment, taking the significance about what I was about to do in. I then turned my head and left the bike where it was, starting to walk forward even though I had it placed it beneath the loitering sign. I then knew that it was. I had lost control and there was no turning back. I strode out with a strut and a new air of confidence and recklessly found arrogance that was surging through my veins. I walked in front of me, and I walked right up to his face without making a move. I stared directly into his eyes, sensing weakness and fear, the same fear they had known only a moment ago, before I was thrown into it off my bike, placing the bike beneath the little loitering sign. I knew as I looked into his eyes that I was going to get what I wanted, and I was going to get it on my terms. I also vowed then and there that I was going to take up loitering as a hobby. He spoke. It was soft, not the same boy that had planned the meeting yesterday. He asked me if I wanted to get a soda first. I asked him what flavors they had inside, and he named them to me, and none of them I liked. I raised my voice and shouted in his face, "I don't like any of those." He knew that he had crossed the line and to back off. He apologized. I said, "I forgive you, but don't let it happen again or else." He then had the audacity to ask me what time it was. I grew angry and impatient. I shouted, I don't know what it looked like, a world time in Switzerland." He said he didn't know what that was. I asked, "Oh, really?" Kind of condescendingly to maintain my dominance. He said, "Yes, really." And then I dropped the whole act in order to properly educate him. I told him it's really cool. It can measure the time to 1/100th of a second, and it's the most accurate clock in the world. And it's very important science experiments and scientific testing. He said, "Oh, cool, and now maybe you'd like to go there sometime." I replied, "Yeah, it'd be neat." And they also have the Large Hadron Collider there as well. He then asserted his dominance and screamed, "Did I say I cared?" I replied, "Well, no, I guess you didn't." He said, "Well, that point is you're late. I said to be here at 8:30 and it's 8:41. I said, I'm sorry, but my gears on the bike got stuck." He said, "Oh, in that case, that makes sense. Okay, it's alright. It's just really important I get home by 9, which is my bedtime." I said, "Well, what is it, for God's sakes, that's so important that you have me go here to help me with my leg pain?" Then he let out a long and sinister laugh. He mocked me. "You would like to know, wouldn't you?" I said, yes, that's why I came." "Oh yeah," he said then. "I got it right here in this van." I acted surprised. I said, "You can drive? You're only 10. He said, "Oh no, my dad drove me here this morning, and it's his job. He runs a pyramid scheme selling relaxing products. And when I told him our catcher was suffering some leg pain, he said he thought he might have something to help him out." He then opened the van's doors, and there it was right before my eyes, glistening, golden, and gorgeous. That thing looked at me like it was like, "Michael, I love you." And I truly fell in love in that moment. I never turned back. Buy your product, U-Squeeze. I went on to recover from seriously debilitating leg pain because of U-Squeeze and won 63 World Series as a professional catcher in the MLB. This could be you. Buy now.